What stakeholders should boards take into consideration when assessing strategy?
So if you think about strategy from a long-term perspective, clearly customer, consumer, absolutely critical. Where companies tend to go wrong often is when they become too internally focused and they miss shifts in customer needs in the marketplace. So really starting with who is buying your product and who is potentially buying it and what do they care about, absolutely critical and has to be sort of the foundation of any strategy. Then, okay, how are you going to get whatever it is? So stakeholders might be suppliers, the extended supply chain. If you are reliant to some extent on agricultural products or geological products, sustainability issues, may come into play because from a strategic point of view, you need to make sure that your supply chain is going to be there for you and it's going to be there in a sustainable way. Next thing is the talent base. And so that brings employees into the equation. How are you making sure that you're attracting and retaining the right level of talent? And we touched briefly on millennials and how they think differently. So is the company really in a position to understand, what are these, sort of new generations that are coming into the workplace and how do they act differently? And do they have different needs and do they have different expectations? And how are we going to be positioned to compete for that millennial talent? And at this point, I don't know what the next generation is, but I think there's even a generation after the millennials that may not even have a name yet that is, sort of getting to be, kind of at that 19, 20-year age range. So they're on their way into the workforce too, but then also at the other end of the spectrum, there's this, enormous group of baby boomers. And what do you do from a talent perspective as baby boomers, get to a certain age? How do you make sure that you're not completely losing all of that knowledge and all of that wisdom that's been built up over the years? So there's a lot that enters into it from a strategic perspective. And then the last is, certainly has sort of the range of them, but from a reputational perspective, what is the company's face to the world and how are people thinking about it? And that really impacts everyone, whether it's are suppliers going to want to work with you? Are employees going to want to work for you? Are they going to do their best work because they feel engaged as employees and happy about the company? And all of those aspects, are consumers going to want to buy from you? All of those pieces, and to a greater or lesser extent, depending on the company, depending how broad its range of stakeholders are, but those should be things that are factoring into strategy.